What is rule 1 of the title race? You do not talk about title race. We're not on a title race. What's poppin', friends? How's it going? I actually genuinely do agree with the Chelsea manager in Chelsea not being in a title race purely because of discipline issues, silly conceded soft goals, and general immaturity. And that's not me slating the team. That's just what happens when you've got the youngest squad in the entire league. But one thing is for sure, we're having a ruddy, lovely time getting those wins, getting those dubs, those 3 points, players developing, we're no longer just relying on Cole Palmer, and it's great, isn't it? Isn't it great? Like, I'm even friggin' loving the Conference League. I'm excited for those games as well. Being a Chelsea fan is friggin' dope at the moment. It's just so good. I'm loving it. And which makes my work a lot better talking to you guys here on Football Therapy. And today I'm talking about a bunch of stuff. I've gone across Chelsea news. Today I'm going to show you some stuff on Andre Santos, of course, our superstar Brazilian loanee central midfielder, and we can do some comparisons to other midfielders and see, is this guy going to start for Chelsea? Should we recall him in January if we are going to push for certain honours? Do we have a discipline issue? A little bit of Mark Guehi, are Chelsea ready to pounce to get him back? And in a generic injury update from the Evening Standard as well, because there's players like Lavia, Joao Felix that people are thinking, where are these, man? Well, hopefully we're going to find out. Guys, thank you as always for supporting the content. It's super kind of you. And you can do that simply by just dropping a like on the video. It's a millisecond. Hey, you're not doing it. Thanks for liking. And yeah, you're welcome to subscribe. And should you choose to do so, you should hit that sweet, sweet bell, baby. Yeah. Ooh, I'm feeling good today. Right. Quickly, let's do an update. I'm not going to share the particular website here because it's riddled in ads, and we know what that means. So this is coming from the Evening Standard, though, on injury and absentees updates. So let's start off with Joao Felix, and what's the journalist is called Tashan de Niran Aline. Okay, so he or she, I'm imagining Joao Felix says, the Portugal forward, he says about Joao Felix, should I say, he missed Chelsea's, of course, Europa Conference League win over Astana, as well as the Brentford game, with a problem that hasn't been disclosed. Nevertheless, Maresca has revealed that Joao should be ready for the Everton game, which is, of course, next weekend. And I think we'll probably... Yeah, I'd like to see him play in that game. And I don't want to see him play in the midweek game, even though it's Stamford Bridge, Shamrock Rovers... Or is it in Ireland? I don't know. But point being, is not a lot of travelling. I'd like to see some more of the kids being given a chance there, especially with our standing in the Conference League. But yeah, Joao Felix is an excellent footballer, and he will help us in the Premier League. So it'd be nice to see him at Everton. And we will do a preview on that as well, which is it's going to be a really important one, because of course we are without Mark Cucurella at left back. And of course, they've just frustrated Arsenal. Wasn't it at the Emirates as well? The Arsenal couldn't score, so that's going to be really interesting. And guys, Goodison is our bogey ground. But then again, we're breaking records this season. We're finally beating Brentford at home. We're getting wins after international breaks. Maybe it's time to start, changing our fate away at Goodison Park. Let's move on. Romeo Lavia, the midfielder, is in the same boat as Joao Felix. He too has missed the last 2 games after picking up a knock that forced him off against Tottenham. Yeah, which is interesting because that comeback at Tottenham, obviously we already got the Sancho goal at halftime, but everyone thought, and maybe it was tactical to put Romeo Lavia in because we were better. I'm sorry, not Romeo Lavia. Malagusto and moving Caicedo into midfield because we were better after that. But the manager said this: we had Joao and Romeo, we could probably be available for the next one against Everton. So he's in the same boat as Felix. Benoit Badiashile, he's a fresh injury concern after sustaining a problem in training. Worryingly, Maresca is unsure how long Benoit Badiashile will be out. He says he's got a problem. He had a problem during yesterday's session. We don't know how long he'll be out for, which is, Badiashile had some better performances. He's also had some wobbly moments. I don't like him being on the right side of the defence. Look, we've got Levi Colwill fit. We've got Tosin fit as a right centre-back. Chelsea fans generally feel quite comfortable with that, you'd have to say. Disasi can come in for midweek games. Josh Achampong is, being utilised again now. I think we're going to be okay. Carney Chukwuemeka, after starting the Europa Conference League winner Astana, Carney Chukwuemeka didn't make the match today, scored against Brentford. It was later revealed that he was ill, but I think like Cesare Cassidy, which is going to be relevant in a moment, in a few minutes when we speak about Santos, I think Carney and Cesare are going to leave. I think Santos is going to return. That's what I think personally. Ben Chilwell, so I don't even know why Ben Chilwell is in here, but it reads like this. Despite being named in the 25-man squad after the summer transfer window, Ben Chilwell hasn't made a single matchday squad. An illness denied him a chance to play against Brentford. I mean, he's not being utilised, he knows what's happening, they're keeping him fit, he's training, he's trying to stay positive, he's not a part of this Chelsea team. Sad, but it's not that sad when you just accept the project, you accept the progress, and, it's with a heavy heart, you say, okay, thank you, but see you later. So Wesley Fofana, of course, is an interesting one. We knew it was going to be 3, 4, 5 weeks at the gaffer, he'll be out for a while. And Reece James, Chelsea's other known injury absentee at present is the captain James, who has not played, of course, since the 1-1 draw in the 10th of November with Arsenal. He got a hamstring injury at training session. James underwent a scan. The severity remains unclear. We don't know when he's going to be back. Ugh. So slowly, we're having absentees creep back in. It's that time of year, but unlike every other team in the league, we are better equipped to deal with it, and it's absolutely nothing like the nightmare of last season, which was absolutely horrendous. Okay, so I quickly want to show you guys this. This is Simon Johnson's piece on Chelsea's discipline issue. He can no longer ignore, the Chelsea manager can no longer ignore Chelsea's discipline issue. He speaks about, suspensions and this, that, and the other, but I want to show you this, the Athletic graphic here. Most yellow cards in the Premier League this season. Now, Southampton are 40. We're most, which is mental. And it's mental because Southampton should be the most, because they are falling out the back end of the Premier League. They're an absolute crisis club. They are all over the gaff. They've, of course, just sacked their manager. And they are, you'd kind of expect a lot of those at the top. But if Chelsea was second, even with say Chelsea was second or joint second with 41, like Leicester, Fulham and Ipswich, it would still be a talking point. But the fact how we are the most, that is absolutely in Oriental, mate. Arsenal, who were deemed to be an immature team for a while, got 33. We have 17 more than them. It is a problem. And yes, let's recognise it comes with being the youngest team in the league and being all overexcited with, the exuberance of youth, all being overexcited. Like, oh my God, we're doing well and we believe in ourselves. Foul. But it's not just that. It's silly arguments like Nico Jackson, that was leaking back into his game. Arguments. Some dissent. Freaking Kukureya getting that red card at the end of the game yesterday. Silly and needless. It is a problem. It needs to be addressed, but I think that will come with maturity. Not so much Kukureya. I know he's an example there, but the thing with Kukureya is he's 25, 26 years old. He's a Euros champion. He's not a kid. He's been around the block. He's played in Spain. He's played in England and multiple clubs. That's the kind of sort of tenacious, theatrical character he is. He winds up opposition players up. He does seem very Real Madrid in many ways, doesn't he? Winding up oppositions, diving as well. He just diving. Not to the extent where it's like, this has got to stop, but to the point where understandably opposition fans are like, stop it. I mean, not quite Kyle Walker against Rasmus Højlund, but it's part of his game is what I'm saying. Whereas perhaps all the other yellow cards are more needless and frustrating. kind of thing. Let's move on. Transition, please. There we go. Right, so the football.london website has spoken about Mark Guehi, of course, once of Cobham, once of Chelsea, now of Crystal Palace. Apparently, Chelsea could reportedly take advantage of Crystal Palace's decision to take financial hit on Mark Guehi. Remember, they wanted 70 million quid for him, their demand last summer. This is being cited from an article from the Mirror. Palace are prepared to take a financial hit over the defender, though it said the club would not entertain bids in January. The 24-year-old has been subject of intense interest potentially from Premier League clubs, of course. Newcastle United, we knew. Liverpool looking at him. Remember, Liverpool were willing to throw the bag at Chelsea for Levi Colwill, and then we convinced Colwill to stay and extend because he just wanted to know he's going to be an important player for Chelsea. And yes, lo and behold, Levi Colwill has become a very important player for Chelsea. It would be kind of like a nice thing to have Guehi back, but Guehi would be joining Chelsea to be a starter, and for me, that would only mean that Chelsea have long-term concerns over Wesley Fofana's injury record, because Fofana, for me, is such a great centre-back. I'm not going to keep going over and over that, guys, because you get bored of me saying it, but I do think they complement each other very, very well. They're both very young, early 20s. Chelsea have got a 20% sell-on thing with Mark Guehi, so had they sold him to Newcastle, Chelsea would have made like nearly 10 million off the 65-70 million transfer fee. They're looking to take a big a hit. I wonder if, no, we wouldn't get a discount, would we? It's literally a sell-on clause, so if you can't like refund yourself. Look, let me know what you guys think about the centre-back thing, because everyone's talking about Chelsea need this one centre-back still. Mark Guehi is an amazing centre-back. He's probably a starter for England now. Obviously he wasn't with this interim period, but I reckon Thomas Tuchel will start him as well. He's got a bit of a leader. He's got a bit of grit to him. I wonder if he'd want to come. I can't imagine he'd want to come back to Chelsea. But, I'm not so sure. Look, and again, we'd have to lose one. We'd have to lose a Disassi. You'd keep the left-hand side would be, of course, Colwill and Badiashile to back him up, the left-footers. And then the right-hand side would be, I suppose, Fofana or Mark Guehi, with Tosin being the senior guy to, step in on either side or something. Be very interested to hear what you guys think. Right, I do want to speak about Andre Santos now, because this kiddie, and I'm using SofaScore here, has been balling out for Strasbourg, our sister club, owned by Blue Co, essentially Chelsea. They won 3-0 last time out, Strasbourg. He scored in the 90th minute. Look at these ratings on the left-hand side here. This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The last 10 games. Green across the board, including a brace against Nantes, and then obviously scoring here. He's got a few goals for Strasbourg, and he's been very, very, very good. To the point where I also want to show you guys this, which is understat.com. This is this season. Here we have a graph on the right hand side. The green lines, part of it represents Andre Santos, and I put Romeo Lavia up here. Of course, they're very different players, and Romeo Lavia has played very, very small, but less than half of the minutes. But goals per 90, and remember, he's not, he's not an attacking midfielder, Andre Santos. He's like a functional midfielder, right? He does build up. He does, he doesn't get assists, as you'll see here, but he's, as the assists per 90, as you see here, it's not there. Lavia's got something, but he can tackle, he can run around, but he'll progress the ball upfield. He's still still creative. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. He's still creative, with the key passes per 90, but perhaps he hasn't got the finishes around him to get the assists per 90. But look, before we talk about what his role would be in the club and how important it is, let's just think of a player to compare him to, I don't know, Kovacic, maybe? Yeah, so he's more offensive than Kovacic, but similar. Remember, Andre Santos is a young player. He's still developing. Jorginho, like a senior, sort of central midfielder. Jorginho ain't got much going on at the moment. Caicedo, I imagine Caicedo will be a lot, well, interesting. So Caicedo much better on expected assists and build up. These are seemingly not obviously defensive metrics. They're like build up, creativity, and chance finishing. So it's a little bit unfair, but it shows you what he could be offering. I suppose he would be playing a little bit more in the Enzo Fernandez role, so that would be interesting to compare it to. Wow, look how balanced Fernandez is. Enzo Fernandez this season. What a player he's been. But point being, like you saw the comparisons with Lavia and other players as well. He seems so effective. I wonder if Cassidy, because I don't think they do the championship here on this platform. But it's really positive stuff. Andre Santos. He's looking really good. Essentially, he is, like I said, a central midfielder. He's an all-rounder. He's kind of a box-to-box. He's not an attacking midfielder, properly. But I reckon he could do that advanced 8 role, occupy. He's so technically gifted and occupy those spaces that you've seen, like a Cucurella do recently. I know it's a tactic that having your fullbacks invert into those spaces because the opposition don't know how to pick you up. Like, it's very deliberate that you don't just start a midfield free with 2 8s in those spaces or something like that. When you create that box midfield, the 2 8s, if one comes from fullback, you're like, how do I track this guy? What's going on? Like, it's a very deliberate tactic. Sometimes you'll see Enzo there or Cucurella or, Palmer moves over. It'll be very very to see if, for me, the role like Lavia is playing, it could be like a similar amount of minutes as Andre Santos could for Chelsea. Now, I'm not suggesting Lavia is a very good player. We're going to keep and use him. But like I said earlier in the video, I think this is going to come at the expense of Cesare Cassidy, who, by the way, we should make money on. He's a great player. He's a very sellable asset. Just as Carney Chukwuemeka is a sellable asset. I know we paid a few quid for him, but he's a very good player. It's not like we're selling a dud. We're selling a talented young player. So they should both be very sellable. And then Andre Santos, who's probably doubled in value himself, comes into the Chelsea squad and is a reliable player to play at a high level. Who can come into this Chelsea team to play in the Premier League and, dare I say, the Champions League. But, I don't know if there's even a consideration to bring him back in January. I think that would be very cruel on the Strasbourg fans. I felt very, very conflicted about the Blue co-ownership. I say conflicted, there's been like protests and stuff. I get it, kind of thing. But if they become better, then they'll change their minds, I'm sure. So I think it'll be quite cruel. Georgi Petrovic was over there as well. Caleb Wiley, a lot of players over there. But I think in terms of one that's definitely destined for the Chelsea first team, it's Andre Santos. And I think he will absolutely be in the squad next season. And I think it will be at the expense of a Cassidy, a Chukwuemeka. Which means, the squad's just looking rosy. You just need to kind of up. And going from a Conference League club to a Champions League club, these are the kind of upgrades you do. You swap a Cesare Cassidy that comes in for the Conference League to an Andre Santos that comes into the Champions League phase and can play really well, or even the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? There'll be a couple of changes like that. Maybe you swap a Disassi for a Mark Guehi. Do you know what I mean? Maybe there's and Nkunku gets sold for 50 million and we bring in an actual striker to rotate in with Jackson. Maybe not. Do you know what I mean? And then, of course, there's the goalkeeper and all sorts. But there is that kind of idea that the B team, a couple will go, a couple will be upgraded, and then a couple will have developed into better players that deserve to stay. Yeah. So, as always, I'll thank you guys for hanging around with me here on the channel and listening to my thoughts, opinions, and commentary on Chelsea. Thank you, as always, for liking and subscribing. And I'll be back tomorrow because I'm here every single day. So I can't wait to see you, man, then. Peace.